state capitol.
The U.S. Supreme Court decided a case on Thursday that could have changed the way we draw our political maps in America. At the heart of this issue, should voters pick their elected officials or should politicians pick their voters? Two states went to the Supreme Court to defend partisan maps that were slanted toward the party already in power, Democrats in Maryland and Republicans in North Carolina. We turn now to our Reporters Roundtable to discuss and analyze that decision. Adriana Pitrelli from the Chicago Daily Law Bulletin. Good to have you with us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And Dahl from WTAX. All right, the Supreme Court basically said this is not our issue. We're a court. We're politics are politics. That's up to the people and the parties and the activists to all decide here. What was the takeaway here? What does this mean for Illinois with the census and the map drawing right around the corner?
Right. I mean, a lot of people are talking nationwide how this is really going to affect Democrats. But right here in Illinois, this is actually going to, or could affect the Republicans. The Democrats are going to have control. Democrats are going to be the ones drawing the lines at this point. And this could have effect because the courts are basically saying it's not in our control. And something very similar actually happened in Illinois about 10 years ago when they redrew the maps and Republicans were saying that they were unfair and that the map had that it was unconstitutional under the U.S. Constitution, and the Northern District Court here, through Judge Panel, said, you know, it's not that big of a deal. So the Republicans have been fighting this in Illinois for years and might be fighting it again, but anything that they take to the court is not going to stand.
Yeah, nationally, gerrymandering seems to tilt toward Republicans in most states. But here in Illinois, Democrats have control of the state legislature, and they draw maps that help them.
It would appear that the status does remain quo, at least as the last number of remaps would say. And if you were to say, oh, it gives the Democrats too much power, they can do whatever they want, the Democrats here would probably say, yeah. The last time they did the remap, one factor in drawing the maps was the residency of the incumbent, where the incumbent legislator lives is going to be a factor.
And carve a sitting elected official out of their own district and say, okay, you live here, we're going to carve you out, you no longer serve that district.
Yes, or the other way around. Make sure that they do live here. And of course, in Congress, you don't have to live in the district. But you have some funny things where I think it's the city of Collinsville, correct me if I'm wrong, that at one point was in 4 separate districts. And Rodney Davis, the Republican of Taylorville, will tell you, I'm in a district drawn for a Democrat, and I've won every time.
Yeah.
But I think it probably changes little in Illinois as opposed to what it might change in other states.
The Supreme Court has ruled in on gerrymandering before, but only when it was on racial lines. That's a civil rights issue, and that was an issue where the Supreme Court said that's where the courts can rule and say you can't pick people by race. But politics is a matter of a person's political opinion and their persuasion and their political beliefs, and that's a fight for the people to have and the politicians to have, not us, the courts. Is that a fair reading of how they...
Yes, okay. Exactly.
Now enter the activists. The court's saying this is up to the people, so Change Illinois is one of these groups that is very focused on this issue of gerrymandering. They released a statement saying this ruling closes the door on future cases, but underscores the need for every Illinoisan to join our fight, the group says, to demand our politicians quit suppressing our votes and our voices by rigging our districts. The group also said this was an extremely short-sighted and irresponsibly dangerous decision, and says now Illinois must ask our elected leaders to banish gerrymandering. Dave, Governor Pritzker did say he supports a fair map, though he's been a little bit hazy on what that looks like in the specifics. Do you have a sense that he's committed to this idea, or will there still be some partisan temptations when the map is drawn?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much power he really has to put behind it, because I think we are in the next remap. We are going to see the claw. We are going to see the bunny on the skateboard. We're going to see these strangely shaped districts where you've got 2 parts that are not continuous. They're separated by, you know, 1 lane of Higgins Road or something like that. The governor has shown that he has the will to get things done, but I think there's an equal or greater amount of will of the people who've been making the maps for years, i.e. the legislative Democrats, and we'll see how badly the governor wants this.
It seems like we have a new political issue that will be batted around for some time before this map is drawn. The Speaker Mike Madigan, will have outsized power in that discussion as the legislature is really part of drawing these maps. So the Speaker and the Senate President will be there in the governor's office, essentially drawing this map. The Speaker is also under the spotlight now as speculation starts to mount after a Chicago Tribune story came out on Wednesday night that one of the Speaker's close political operatives, Kevin Quinn, got a knock at the door back in middle of May. The FBI was there with a warrant, and they took out computers and electronic devices from his home. This is not the first in a series of different federal probes into people close to the Speaker. Can we read the tea leaves here? Is there the Speaker was caught on a wire discussing some business deals, some private business deals he wanted to get. The Speaker said at the time he didn't know if he was under investigation, was not aware. Is this sign of anything greater in the works? Can we say that just yet?
I think that we can. I mean, it's happened to multiple people around him, and they can't just say, oh, we want to investigate or look into these people just because we want to. And when you're seeing more and more people that are close to the Speaker, they know something is there. They at least suspect something is there.
What exactly does the FBI need before they go knock on Kevin Quinn's door and say, we're seizing your personal private property? They have to go to a judge, right?
Right.
What do they have to show that judge?
They have to go to a judge, and they have to basically outline what they think and their reason in order to get a warrant. They can't just knock on anyone's door. So they do have to go to a judge, and a judge has to decide that, yes, there is cause, and you have the right to go check on them.
I don't know how close Kevin Quinn is to the Speaker. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it sounds like from what we've read and heard over the last year or two that he's dirty enough that they could be getting stuff on him that has nothing to do with the Speaker. Furthermore, as Steve Brown, the Speaker's spokesman, said about a lengthy Tribune investigation that resulted in nothing, the Tribune couldn't find the needle, so they printed the haystack. So, in short, no one's found anything on Madigan so far, and why should this be different? What could be in Kevin Quinn's computer that would result in some kind of a federal hit on Speaker Madigan?
So the feds are fishing?
Maybe. And maybe they're interested in something that's not Mike Madigan. I mean, they could get everything in there, throw it all into Bass-O-Matic and whip it up and, take a drink and say, that's good bass. But that doesn't mean they've got an indictment against Madigan.
Our resident SNL expert here on the show, Dave Dahl, always adding a little color.
Bass-O-Matic 76, I think it was.
Yeah. All right. Dave and Adriana, thank you for joining us. We're back in a moment.